Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, marketing expert Sharon Williams restarts sales at Car Next Door. We get growth tips from quickly rising craft brewery Four Pines, and former Apple evangelist Guy Kawasaki shares his top tips. Welcome back to KBB. We're straight into the big issues today with a great segment exploring targeted marketing and getting customers across the line. We also catch up with a small brewer taking on the big guys and get tips from a social media legend. But first, let's jump into some news you can use. Researchers found it takes 15 minutes to return to a productive state after an interruption. So when you consider everyday distractions like meetings, emails, phone calls and coffee breaks, an 8-hour day is probably only 4 hours of productive focus. To increase that time, you need to carve out distractions. Draw up agendas for shorter meetings. Block out banks of time to work on specific projects and only check your phone and email at set intervals. By putting these simple policies in place, you'll get more achieved. And in small business, you need to make the most of every minute you have. Now, peer-to-peer car sharing business Car Next Door is faced with a tough predicament. Scale up to succeed or continue on their existing path and eventually pack it in. To get the numbers they need, the business only has to create a bigger buzz and also address their processes and sales plan. To help them get started, PR and marketing expert Sharon Williams dropped by to share her tips.
So tell me about Car Next Door and how you got started.
I really wanted to get into something that was reducing the amount of carbon going into the world and having a positive environmental impact. I decided that peer-to-peer car sharing was the way to go. There's 7 million cars in Australian capital cities, and most of those sit around doing nothing for 93% of the time. So they're very, very rarely used. So what we want to do is take just a small fraction of those cars. We only need sort of 1% of them and turn them into share cars so that other people can start borrowing them.
How's it been going for you this last 2 years?
So we launched in December 2012, and since then we've onboarded 130 cars and nearly 2,500 borrowers who borrow those cars. So yeah, it's growing very, very fast.
So Will, on that journey, what's been the biggest challenge?
We're not making a great deal of money per customer. It's just a few dollars. So we need to work out how to acquire customers at the cheapest possible rate so that we can actually build a sustainable business.
So I go online on your website and I register that I want to either rent out my car or I want to hire a car. How do you answer all those questions? You know, what if my car gets stolen? What do I do about petrol, insurance, safety?
We've got two sides to our marketplace. We've got borrowers looking to borrow cars and owners looking to rent their cars out. For a borrower, it's quite a risk-free and small transaction, so we very rarely get many questions from borrowers. It's a bit of a different story on the owner side because you're entrusting your beloved asset to be shared out by multiple people, and you've got a lot of questions you want to ask. So
I like the way that you've got the phone number, so at any point through the process I could stop and phone you, but if it's 10 o'clock at night, I'd rather just have those questions answered really quickly. I do think that people will bulk at different stages through the website, and I want you to really push the safety message on the site. You could perhaps even have the top 6 questions somewhere at the side of the process so that the obvious questions, is petrol included? What about insurance? What happens if they wreck my car? Do I have to have it cleaned? Maybe some of those obvious questions page, you could probably put as a little revolving thing.
You're right, that should be stuff that's right there front and centre as people are signing up.
The business has made some inroads, but really needs to crank things up. After the break, we hear Sharon's fundamental steps to getting more customers across the line.
Hi, I'm Justin Herald, founder of Attitude Incorporated. The one thing I want to talk about, a business tip I want to talk about, is adding extra things, extra components into a sales process. A lot of people just talk about the product and expect someone to buy. What we did with Attitude is when people come up to us in the market stall, we decided to add something extra because we had a lot of competition. There was a lot of other t-shirt brands and companies in the same place. So we didn't want people walking away and just comparing t-shirt to t-shirt. We wanted them walking away comparing t-shirts, but then also the experience that they had when they were in front of us. So we decided to add entertainment. We decided to have fun with those people. We decided to engage with them. We decided to entertain them at the same time. We just had so much fun. So if they went to the stand next to us, the first thing they thought about is, hang on, I really like those guys. They were really nice guys. The product was irrelevant. So why don't you add that into your sales process and see what happens?
And where do you want to take the business? What are you going to do with it?
So we want to have 10,000 cars being shared by 180,000 borrowers across all Australian major cities. So what we're going to do to get there is get our systems and processes sharper, more efficient, and then also work out how to market what we're doing a lot better than what we're doing.
Okay, so what I'd like you to think about is looking at your borrowers and your owners as two different markets. So what you're doing is segmenting your borrowers into all the different types of borrowers, and you're segmenting your owners into all the different types of owners. When you know exactly who you're talking to, then it's really easy to work out, right, oh, I know where I find uni students. Oh, I know where I find investment bankers. So you start to do marketing programs to them that are very tailored and segmented rather than just do marketing.
Right, okay. Any ideas for how you would specifically market to an investment banker on a low budget?
I would have lots of business press, business PR about your company so that when they're reading the financial review or the business papers, you're there. And I'd also be hanging around outside banks with leaflet drops with some lovely young people dressed in bright T-shirts with your logo and handing them out outside the institutions that you know that there are 2,000 potential owners and customers up there.
Yeah, right.
So one of the reasons you went into this was very much a moral viewpoint on sustainability, and I'm wondering how much you use that in your marketing.
We would actually like to talk more about the sustainability side and the and our reasons for it, and we do that a bit. Is there any risk in pushing your environmental agenda too far because it could then turn off a whole market segment?
Drive sustainability. You're in this because you want to save the planet, and therefore let's talk about that. It will capture people. It's who you are and what you're standing for, and a brand has to be the same. So the brand has to stand by what your belief system is.
Yeah, right.
You're growing organically at the moment, so you're going after another like on the Facebook. You're going after another borrow and hire of the cars. Why not partner with some people out there, some organisations, Clean Up Australia, some of the universities, some of the major banks, and target them where they have perhaps thousands of potential customers. So we know what we've got to do.
Looking good.
Good luck and have fun.
Thanks, Sharon.
So Sharon's key tips there are communicate your business values, break down your target market into segments, and look at partnerships with bigger organisations to leverage their audience. It's really great advice. Let's keep that going now with lessons from former Apple Chief Evangelist, Guy Kawasaki.
Hi, my name is Guy Kawasaki. I'm the Chief Evangelist of Canva, and I'm here to give you some tips. So tip number one is to get on social media. Social media is fast and free and ubiquitous, great to build a marketing platform. Get on social media. Next tip. The next tip is to always hire people who are better than you at what you need them to do. You want people who are better at engineering if you're a salesperson, better at selling if you're an engineer. Hire better than yourself. Next tip. Particularly for entrepreneurs who are just starting their company. Focus on the prototype, not planning, not forecasting, not writing these documents. Get the prototype out, get it out there, see if your customers will really use it. That's a very good test for the vitality and the viability of your company.
Coming up next, we catch up with the young brains behind craft brewer 4 Pines. This business tip brought to you by NAB, helping Australian business see more, not less. Tim, you say you see Australian business. I'm a tradie, wants to set up a Facebook page. What do you see for me?
Well, Kochie, the good news is that it actually doesn't take much to take advantage of the opportunity with Facebook, but many of our customers just don't know where to start. Given that over 9 million Australians log into Facebook every day, we're here to help. And so to that end, we've partnered with Tiger Pistol, who have a fantastic approach to establishing a Facebook presence.
So what approach is that?
Well, we think simplicity is the key to success with Facebook. So we think a simple 3-step process works best. And the first step is to grow. So that means to actively grow your fan base to a healthy level.
Okay, that's the first step. 2 and 3.
The second step is all about engagement. So that's ensuring that you're actually posting content that your audience is engaging with and that you're adapting that content to what they like the most. The final stage is all about conversion. So once you've got a healthy fan base, they're engaged, you need to switch the focus to converting that to new business.
So then is that a set and forget approach?
No, definitely not. Customers need to continue to cycle through these different phases to ensure that they are growing their fan base and they're engaging with their fan base and actually increasing conversion opportunities.
Beauty. Facebook in 3 easy steps. Thanks, Tim. For more information, visit nab.com.au/smallbusiness. Now, Four Pines is a family-run brewery started after a dad and his son couldn't find a decent beer. Well, since that spontaneous beginning, the business has grown into one of Australia's top craft breweries. We dropped by to hear how founder Jaron Mitchell manages the quickly growing business.
So, Jaron, you run one of Australia's most successful craft breweries. Tell us about how you got started.
I was having a pie with my old man, just only about 5 k's from the brewery here. And he simply turned around to me and said, all right, we've had the pie, we've had the surf, let's go get a good beer. I said, oh, Dad, it's Sydney, you don't get good beer. This is 8 years ago, of course. Not good, genuine beer that, explored flavours and hops and, various malts and different styles. In fact, the heart of Four Pines, or the brand essence, is we love beer, and that's where it all came from.
From that small start, you have 60 staff, 2 breweries, restaurant and a bar. How have you managed that growth?
A lot of hard work, but also a tremendous support base of, we are a family business, and we started as a family business, and there's myself, my wife, my parents, and my brother, but also just some really fantastic, excellent, committed Four Pines ambassadors, or the guys that work day to day behind the scenes.
How important has external advisory and consultation been?
The beautiful thing about a brewery, and particularly a locally independently owned Australian craft brewery, you do have this really genuine sense of community engagement, and the community really want to get behind you and see you succeed.
What do you do to encourage and leverage that consumer advocacy?
I mean, obviously we've been extremely lucky having a venue to begin with. Every single thing about it is Four Pines. Where the beer is brewed is seen on site. That was a fantastic core for us to grow our, consumer loyalty. We were probably operating that venue for about 2.5 years before we even began to sell beer wholesale around the country.
Right.
So as a consequence, the brand was already known. People had a very positive affiliation and association with the brand.
How long did it take before you hit profitability?
It is a very capital-intensive business as well. So whilst we're saying, oh, we're just getting into the black now, a whole bunch of that will be sucked into, funding expansion. And we're just beginning to kind of cross that line now, where as opposed to treading water, 6 years in, we're beginning to see some black.
Looking at the sort of competitive environment, there's about 180 established craft beer brands in Australia now. How do you maintain your patch in that?
To give you an idea, those 180 breweries at the moment have about 1% of beer in Australia. That compares to, say, about 8% in the US as a comparison of total market. Now, if those 180 breweries were fighting over the 1%, well, we'd all go belly up, because there's not enough beer to slosh around those 180 breweries. The aim of our game is to kind of, ultimately have a bigger slice of the pie. And where we get that slice of the pie from is from the monster duopoly that currently exists in beer in Australia at the moment. So I've seemed to find that guys that look at the craft brewing industry as a bit more of a collegian kind of an approach. People are only too happy to open their doors to us and have us come in and share ideas and knowledge. and vice versa. I think that kind of collegiate approach is actually seeing, you know, that 1% grow by 20, 30, 40% per year. So ultimately what that means is there's just more litres of beer to go around for everybody, and that rate of growth at the moment seems to be a lot greater than the number of breweries popping up, even though it seems like there's a lot.
Well, it's terrific business. We look forward to seeing it and a few more taps around town. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Cheers.
Look, it's a great example of how sometimes trusting your gut is the best business sense you have, but also still making sure the numbers work and putting clear roles and processes in place when you do roll the dice. Now, to think it all started in the search for a decent beer, it's such a great success story. Next up, a tip from our resident tech whiz Val Quinn, and another tough question answered in Ask Kochie. It's Tech Tip time with Val Quinn.
People using a business email account will send and receive a daily average of 121 mail messages, which is a 15% increase since 2011. Now, consumers have been weaning themselves from electronic inboxes and increasingly turning to digital alternatives such as Facebook, Twitter, and mobile messaging. Asana creates software that ends the reliance on email, especially in the context of collaboration, by combining the elements of a communal notebook, social network, instant messaging application, and online calendar. Essentially, it allows you to see all of your team's conversations and tasks in one quick and easy place. Now, it's a free service for teams of up to 15 workers, and it's a great way of getting things done without the email.
Let's get into Ask Kochie, and this week Lionel has written into the website to ask, my brother and I have a long-running small business. We employ around 30 people, including our adult sons. But we're thinking about retirement and need some help with succession planning. It's a great question, Lionel. There are lots of things to consider in succession planning. Will both ownership and management be transferred? Will non-family members be included? What are their roles and responsibilities? And will the succession be a gift or a sale? Now, once you've given it some thought, have a look at business.gov.au, which provides a great succession plan template and guide. And if that sounds like a lot to take in, the Family Business Association of Australia have advisors on hand to help with succession and retirement planning. Remember that to transfer a business name, an application needs to be lodged with ASIC, and there are also some tax obligations. So be sure to contact the ATO and get some tax advice before you make any decisions. Well, that's it for now, but stay with us on Facebook or Twitter during the week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
We drive trucks and we make coffee, we sell books and we sell shoes. We build things and we make things and we fix them for you too. We use our skills to give advice, we make you healthy, wealthy and wise. The small guys you can count on, we're always here for you. We give our towns and cities the culture that they love. Greet you with a smile when you walk into our shop. The self-employed community, we are this nation's family. We'll photograph your wedding, we'll even wash your dog. 'Cause we don't shy away from working every day. We're Australian small business, yeah, we will lead the way. No, we don't shy away from working every day. We're Australian small business, yeah, we will lead the way. Early mornings every day, we're staying up till late. We open up our doors for the joy that we create. And we don't want to wait, we're living life our way. We do it 'cause we love it, yeah, each and every day. So let's let the world know our passion's not for show. it's all on the line to help the nation grow. 'Cause we don't shy away from working every day. We're Australian small business, yeah, we will lead the way. No, we don't shy away from working every day. We're Australian small business, yeah, we will lead the way. We're Australian small business, yeah, we will lead the way. Yeah, we're Australian small business, and we will lead the way.
Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, we drop in on an artisan printing press expanding into Asia. Pick the brain of iconic Australian businessman Dick Smith and get another lesson from a legend.